Hello friends, welcome back to my channel. My name is Mimi. In today's video, I'm going to be sharing with you a few Excel tips and tricks. Whether you're new to Excel or you're an expert, I'm sure you're going to find this video very useful. In the description box below, I've attached the data that I'll be using. Please follow along. First, do you know Excel has a built-in camera that you can use to take a snapshot of your data? What we have to do is to right-click on any of this. I'm going to right-click on View. And I'm going to go to Show Quick Access Toolbar. Now I see the toolbar, but I still don't see the camera. So I'm going to click on this down arrow. I'm going to go to More Commands. Here, I need to change this to All Commands. And then I need to search for camera. So I'm going to the C category. So just look for camera. We're almost there. Now I see camera. I'm going to click it and say Add. I'm going to click OK. Now, if you notice here, we have that camera. Before we click camera, we need to first highlight all our data. So now if I highlight my data, I can now click camera. All I have to do now is just to click it here. Now I see the data. One nice thing about this is anytime I make a change here, it's going to update here. Okay, so let's change this 59. Let's change it to 1,000. Now we see it here. Next is dependency list. Say you have a fitness center in different location and you want your user to be able to select a location and only the trainers in that specific location should show up. Well, you can achieve this with dependency list. To do this, all we have to do is to set up our data. And so that anytime we pick a location, it's going to show us only the trainers that are in that location. So let's use this tab to we have all our locations. We have the east, west, south, and north. We have all the trainers in each one. What we have to do is to turn them into a table. That way we can use them in the data validation. So let's start off with this east one. So all I have to do is to click anywhere in this data here for east. I'm going to do Control T, and I'm going to make sure you have this check mark. Make sure you have a check. I'll say OK. And then before I go to the next one, make sure you rename the table name. Let's use East. That way we can reference it. So I'm going to say East. I'll click Enter. Now I will do the same thing for West. I'll do Control T. Make sure you have it checked. I'll say OK. And then let's change the name to West. I'll click Enter. Now let's do the same thing for South. Control T. I'll make sure it's checked here. I'll say OK. Then I'll rename this to South. Click Enter. Now for the last one, for North, I'm going to do Control T. OK. Then I'm going to rename this to North. Okay, now let's go back to our data. So for location, we just need to highlight all this. And then we go to Data. And we just go to Data Validation right here. The symbol is Data Validation. I'm going to click it. It's going to show me this, so I need to change this to a list. Click this up arrow, and now we're going to navigate to that tab, and we just need to highlight all the location that we have. I'm going to let go. I'm going to click that down arrow, and I'll click OK. So now if you notice, now we can select, okay, West. So now here we don't have anything here because we are yet to set up the data validation for this trainer. So what we have to do is we just need to highlight this and we go back to data validation here. And now we need to choose a list. Now, instead of using a source, we need to use a formula. And for this, we're going to use a formula called indirect. I'm going to click equals and I'm going to type in indirect. I'll open parentheses. And all I have to do now is my data. I need this trainer field to look at this location field. So if you notice, location is in F column. So I'm going to start with F2. So here I just need to type F2. Now close the parentheses and I'll click OK. So now if I click this, I can see Janet is in West region. We can confirm that by going here. We see that Janet is in West region. If I go back and let's select another one, let's say East. So for East, let's see who are in East. We have Mercy, Cody, and Beer. Mercy, Cody, and Beer. That's what we should see here. And we now see that this is working accordingly. Next is trend line. Trendline with the ability to easily see the different high points and low points in your data. This can make it very easy for the user of your report to easily see the trend in the data. So I'm just going to change this background color to this. And now let's add the lines. To do that, let's go to Insert. And now I see a line. I just have to click this up arrow here. And now I'm just going to highlight this data. I click it again, and then I click OK. So now I can see the line, but I don't want it to have this color. If you want, you can change the color to white. For me, I'm going to use white. And now to show the highest and the lowest, we just have to go to this marker color here. We have different options. So for us, let's say for the high point, we want to use a green color. And we go back again. And we say for low points, we want to use a red marker. So now we can see this. This is the lowest. This is the highest. And all we have to do now is just to drag this down. Now we have this. Let's do the same thing for the bottom here. This bottom is going to show us by region. So we can see which region is doing good and which one do we need to do more work on. To do that, we're going to do the same thing. Let's give this a nice color. And now I'm going to click on the cell here, and we just need to go back to where it says Insert. And now let's use a column chart. And I'm going to click this up arrow again. I'm just going to highlight the data, and I'm going to click the arrow again and click OK. Now I can see it. Again, if you want, you can change the color if you want. But then now the marker, we can change the marker and say the highest point, we want it to be highest point, we want it to be green. And we go back again and say we want the low point to be red. And we notice here now that it's red. I'm just going to drag this all the way. And now we have it. Next is pivoting with Power Query. You might be given a data that looks like this with different dates on each row. And then they want you to turn it to a data that looks like this, with the columns being the different month. Well, this can be a lot of work without this tool, and it is Power Query. Think of Power Query as an engine within Excel that helps you transform your data easily without having to do any manual work in few clicks. And to do that, we just need to go to Data and go to From Table/Range. I'm going to click it and click OK. This is going to open up Power Query for us. Now with Power Query, all we just have to do is to click on this month column, and we go to Transform, we go to Date, and we just need to look for month, and we turn it to name of month. Now we have the name for each month. If I click this, we can see that we have all the month. Well, what we need to do next is to pivot our table, and I'm going to click on Pivot Column. Now this is going to ask us, okay, what column do you want me to sum? For us, we wanted to sum the sales amounts right here. So I'm going to change this to sales amount. I'm going to click OK. Now we can see automatically that we have each month and we have each product. And all we now have to do now is just to load this. So I'm going to click Close and Load. Make sure you go back to the Home tab and click Close and Load. So now this is going to load this. So now we have the data that we need in the right format. And lastly, how do you easily remove blank rows in your data? You might be tempted to go through it one by one, deleting each blank row. But this can be tedious, especially when you have a lot of rows. Well, let's go through how we can easily do this in few clicks. Make sure you're on the Home tab and go where it says Find and Select. Go to Special. Click on Go to Special and then look for blanks right here, and click OK. Now Excel is going to automatically highlight all the blank rows in your file. And what we just have to do next is just to click this Delete. When I click it, all the blank rows are gone. That's it. Thank you so much for watching. If this is your first time on my channel, please remember to like and subscribe. I'll see you next time. Bye.